evening, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Awesome. Man, we're gonna have fun tonight. Tonight we're gonna do the sphere by hand, where we'll cut a little marble with the cab machine. And this is like the second time I've done that, so that'll be fun. But it's a fairly straightforward process. And I'm excited because I just realized that the bottle cap on my water bottle is probably about the perfect preform marker for that. Back when John had his sphere cutting shop and he was doing everything the hard way, he he'd have like a pile of bottle caps and like pickle jars and jams and peanut butter and jelly and water bottles and all kinds of different stuff like that. So when you're marking your preforms, you can you have a round marker to mark it, but you need something for each different size. So he had a bunch of those. Oh, it's so good to see you guys all tonight. So we're gonna head over to the production trim saw, and Jordan and I were walking around beforehand thinking, man, what should we do a marble out of? And that variegated tiger eye just kept popping at us. So we're like, well, let's do a variegated tiger eye one because that would be a fun one to do. So there's several different ways you can start by making your cube, but we're going to do it on the production trim saw because that's the uh, preferred way for doing those little ones. Oh, thank you, Travis. So good to see you guys. So we'll go over there. We'll cut out a little cube. We'll cut the corners off, get it rounded up, and then we'll sit and do it, polish it out by hand. Let me grab a Allen wrench so we can tighten the fence on that, and a pair of safety glasses.
You don't want to use your safety squints.
My safety squints. All out of those for today.
Alrighty, boo.
Oh, Jordy, he always cracked me up. This is a some preforms that I've been doing. This is what I did on the 4th of July. Was I sat and made all these. I'm really excited about these, especially this dinosaur bone one. They look terrible right now because they've been sitting in the oil absorbent. But all kinds of good spheres there. This lapis one is going to be really good. And if you guys have never seen before, this is a preform when we do it with the core drill. All that needs to be done to this is have these ridges ground off, and then it's ready to go in the sphere machine. I do have one here because Kathy was kind enough to cut me a cube. We made a preform on with the saw jig. So this is one that what it looks like if you're doing it with a saw and one of the sphere jigs. This one has got an area here that would make this sphere a lot smaller if you actually ground that out. But fortunately, this one is just going to be kept the way it is as a example of these preforms. That one won't ever get finished, at least not by me. And since we're showing off some preforms before we get started here, I'll show you guys these rotochrosites. This is one that I'm really excited to go into my collection. It had a little bit of a line right here that I was worried about it breaking, and so John suggested that I seal that. So I put a little bit of glue on there, but these are all off the same piece of rotochrosite. These are going to be phenomenal spheres. I can't wait to finish those. And if you weren't on last night, these are the Brian's first island agates. That one's really good right there. All right, let's go over to the production trim saw and get us started on this preform. I'm
Zekeri,
excited because we ran the water line through the shop. So we got water running right down to the machine right there. So it's got fresh water spraying right on it. Yes, Jordy.
what was the what's it called? Website that you order the quick sorb off of?
Zorro.
Zora, that's what I thought. Easy Bond Instant Glue. Thick is what it says.
I like the thin better for that kind of stuff, but yeah, the thick will work. The Easy Bond glue is 10 times stronger than super glue. It's a very heavy duty glue. So what we picked was this chunk of variegated tiger eye. And what I'm going to do is get my thickness there, and we're going to set this fence right here to the right distance so that we can cut out a close to perfect cube. And then what we'll do is we'll look at it and mark the corners, and we'll cut the corners off. And once we get a semi preform, then we can take it over to the grinding wheel and start rounding it out. Now, if you're doing this, like if you had a slab saw, you could also just take and make your first cut and then figure out the thickness that you want to do and make a second cut, and that'd give you a really thick slab. So you know you got two perfect parallel cuts. And then you could turn it and make then the saw and cut the other way and move it over and cut the other way. So you here, and then clamp that in the vise and cut here and here. And that would give you a perfect cube too, or close to, depending on how good you do it. That's gonna be a nice little marble. If you're using like something like the 10 TSS, the two ways I do it is I'd either use the vise or I'd stick a block of wood on there that made it so that the distance between the block of the wood and the blade was about the right distance. That's kind of the redneck engineering way. John would be rolling his eyes right now. But there you go. There's a couple options for doing your freeform. So let's see. This piece is almost exactly an inch and a half thick. We'll come over here and we'll set our guide up. And it doesn't have to be perfect, just close. Oh, of course, I grabbed the wrong sized Allen wrench.
Zachary.
Yeah.
Is there a blade spray cover with the water line for the 6-inch trim saw? Do you know?
A what?
Blade spray cover with the water line.
Oh, the with the injector manifold on there. There is not. The only saw that we have that has this injector manifold on it is the production trim saw.
And then what's the size range for doing a marble this way?
I mean, really the only limitation doing something this way is the size of your whatever machine you're using. So if you have a 10-inch trim saw, you could probably do a 3-inch marble this way, or a sphere.
Oh yeah, there's no such thing as off topic for the cut and chats. It's actually the easiest time to look stuff up for you guys.
This is not a way I would normally do stuff, but theoretically you could do it any size this way. Just the saw is going to be your limitation.
I can.
All right, let's see how good that gets us. What we'll do is I'll open the valve up here, give us a little bit of water.
What would the smallest marble size be on this one, Zeke?
That's another, like, again, like the smallest that you really could do it. I mean, theoretically you could do as small as you could hold. I feel like the water got shut off to this because I'm not getting any water pressure. Ah, yes. Someone has closed the valve over here so that we have no water. Now we got too much water here.
So for the blades, it's looking like a month and a half, 2 months-ish, give or take. That's when they'll get here, and then they should get packaged relatively quickly, but we have a lot of containers coming in.
All right. We're ready to get started. So I'm gonna do the first cut just free-handed, and then after that we do it against the fence.
I would just get on the pre-order list, Jamie. Just put a deposit down and then just pay when it comes in. It's looking like we're negative 29 on them right now. This is variegated tiger eye. Let me check the conversion kits.
Isn't that beautiful? This is gonna be such a nice little marble. All right, so now we'll do our next cut against the fence.
Team, did someone get Lawrence the link? It looks like he's still having trouble. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. Is there somewhere on the website to order a set of the newer type valves for my CB8? Zikri, can you hear me?
All right, what was the question?
Is there somewhere on the website to order a set of the newer type valves for my CB8?
No, I know there's a couple people that want them. And so I asked John to send me some, but there's nowhere listed to order them. I just gotta adjust the fence a little bit. We got a little bit not quite as tight.
This is a thin line blade.
So the reason that this saw cuts so much faster is because this is our production trim saw. So this is running twice as fast, and it's got guides to keep the blade in place so that you can get a nice cut and go through a lot faster. And instead of the blade having to pick up water or oil, it's got spraying right onto where I'm cutting on the front of the blade here. All right.
Yeah, Brandon, I'll check on that. I shipped out your splash guards today. I saw your name in there as I was flying through them. You're welcome. So we came in this morning, the queue was at 250 and we left and it was at 50 orders. So the team today, we all cranked about 200 packages out, which is, I think, a new record here. Oh yeah, we were moving today. It was crazy busy here.
Well, in fact, Chantel is still out there shipping machines out.
Oh yeah. I thought I saw your name in there, Travis. Let me look. Variegated tiger eye marble by hand.
But you can see why we like the production trim saw so much. It's just whipping this thing out. Anybody that's does a lot of trimming knows that it takes a good longer to cut something like this. And we still have all these pieces that can be used for cabs. Now, one thing that I want to mention while we're sitting here looking at this, you can see why it's so important to cut tiger eye at the right angle. So this would be like the kind of angle that we would tell people to cut, how to line it up. And the same tiger eye, but you can see just the other direction. This would be more like if you just put it in the vise flat. It comes out not nearly exciting. So if you're cutting tiger eye and you're like, man, well, it looked really good when I started cutting and then it's just got boring, it's because your angle is not right. And it doesn't matter on a sphere because we'll get all the best out of the pattern when we're done, but you can see right there, it makes a difference. Let me see if I got something that's about the right sized round for this. And we can mark it a little bit so it's a little bit easier to freehand this. But is this helpful for you guys get an idea of like how to do this by hand? You know what I just discovered is the perfect marking tool for an inch and a half fish marble. You guys
What?
are gonna love this. The spacer off of the CB6s and CB8s is gonna be the perfect size to mark this. I'll just come back over here and find my aluminum pencil.
Hey, Scott.
That's good because there should be a good number of people that are doing this that have this already. Now, when you are looking at one, you can see it's kind of tilted a little bit. When I go to mark this, if I put all my markings like close to one corner, that will help me get a better preform. But this is very close to the exact size that we need to mark this. Are you guys ready for a deal yet?
Yes.
There you go. See, we can cut these corners off. All right. For tonight, what I'm gonna do is that new collection we just got in. There's a bunch of it that we haven't gone through and lotted up yet. In fact, there's like a whole pallet of it. And what I'm gonna do is 10 pounds for $100. If you guys want to grab a chunk of that tonight. Yeah, it's all gonna be mixed stuff out of that collection. Mostly agates and jaspers and wood. But there's some other things in there. That's
It's
rough.
rough.
Yeah, rough. Man, that would be quite the deal if that was slabs.
Ed wants 20 pounds. Oh, you guys got it. Thank you. Mm,
But you guys can see I'm just marking right out to the edges there, so I know, give me a kind of an idea of where to cut so that I don't screw this up too much. So it's a little bit hard to see on camera there, but you can see I kind of got a circle marked on every face. Oh, like agates and jaspers and petrified wood and various things. I saw a nice piece of leopard skin on top. All right. Anywhere from like little pieces all the way up to chunky pieces. All right. Let's take the edges off now. Oh, and of course I gotta empty the bucket here because I let it fill up. But you guys can see why we like this production trim saw so much. Like it, if you're gonna spend any time with a trim saw, you really do need something like this. Oh, okay. I want to do another deal then. If anybody buys a production trim saw tonight, you can have the 10-pound deal included.
The production trim saws are 1,997.
That's for the stainless steel version.
Yep. Yes. Oh, did you want the powder coat?
I don't think we have any of the powder coats anymore.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's for the stainless. Sorry.
Oh, and that cut was way too deep. I cut way too much of the circle off there.
Are you new here?
Well, I mean, this is the first time I've done this. So you just try to match the angles as best you can because you're just doing this free-handed without a jig.
The 16-inch slab saws are here. Thank you, Joanna.
That's not terrible. It looks worse on the other side because I'm off a little bit on my first few cuts. But I think we're gonna take a little bit off. Well, actually, our next cuts be these angles.
Would it be easier for a first timer to start with softer material?
Sorry, what was that, Jordy?
Would it be easier for a first timer to start with a little softer material?
No, actually, I picked Tiger Eye because it's about the perfect hardness. If it's too soft, then you'll grind a little bit too much, and it'd be harder to keep your shape. So I actually something like Kabambi, Tiger Eye, stuff like that would actually be a really good hardness to start with.
Kristen, I'll look for you. And yes, there are more 16s coming too, Glenn. And then there was someone else that I was helping.
All right, so you can see I just took it around every side, every one of these flat sides, and cut that angle to kind of give us our preform. Now I'll flip it over and do it the other direction. And you could definitely spend more time lining this up with a homemade jig or with against the fence. I made my first couple marks and now I'm just eyeballing it.
Are these all about 45-degree cuts, Zeke?
Theoretically. There you go. There's a very crude preform. And you can see if you're practicing on something like the production trim saw, they go fast enough that you can still do a good amount of these. Now, what I'm going to do, you couldn't do this on like a normal trim saw, but because there's two nylon pins holding this blade in place, I'm going to take and use the edge of the blade and round the edges off.
And then we have a bunch of grit coming, you guys, in about a month, month and a half-ish. There's a container just of grit, so that's for all the kinds that we're out of.
All right, there we go. I'll take a little bit more of this off. But you can see that gives us a pretty good little preform. And what did that take? 15 minutes? 10 minutes? Now the real hard part begins of actually making this thing round.
Zeke, is this an 8-inch blade on this production trim?
Yeah, the production trim saw is an 8-inch blade.
Are you the preference on that trim saw water or oil?
Uh, we use water for most cases. The only time I put oil in it is if I was cutting something more opalitic. All right, let's see how good we can round this one out. It's actually kind of fun to do this. I've done them by hand, like I polished spheres by hand before for uh uh like after they came off the shaping machine. But this is the first one I've done that's fully from preformed by hand. So now what I'm doing is just working the high points around and I'm gonna try to even this out as much as possible. But you just want to work those high points until you get down to where it's all rounded off. You don't want to grind on the flat faces because those are already your lowest points.
And then Kristen on your CAD machine next week. or this weekend. I think Chantal and I will be in here shipping machines Saturday, and I'll probably be in here Sunday. You're welcome. Anytime.
Actually, not too far off from where we could just stick that in the sear machine.
Oh, Stanley, let me shoot you an email about that, actually.
You can definitely see these two cuts right there were the worst ones where I cut way too far into the rock.
Oh, yep, we're here. I'm just thinking. How precise does your preform need to be? Does it need to
It
be an almost perfect shape, or can it be a blob?
needs to be a pretty good shape to go into the sphere machine. This right there is plenty good enough to go into the sphere machine. The only problem with putting a piece like this in the sphere machine is these big flat spots on it still where I cut too far into the stone would take far too long to grind out.
What do you use to preform a 6-inch sphere?
The only thing I personally would preform a 6-inch sphere on is the core drill. Although it can be done in the saw. Like if you had you probably need like a 20 or 24-inch saw. You could preform a 6-inch. But to give you an idea, these are 6-inch preforms right here. And these will come out perfect spheres and take less grinding than this one. And these probably maybe a half an hour in each one of those. These big ones. But these will all be, well, these are cut with a 6-inch bit, so they'll actually be more like 5.5-inch spheres when they're done. But over the next 3 or 4 weeks, we will do sphering with each different method.
Some of them, yes, we will sell.
What's that?
Some of the preforms.
Oh, those preforms are all like personal rock. We don't really offer preforms very often because they're too time consuming and labor intensive for us to make it make sense here. We just don't have a capacity. But when we open up the shop in the Philippines, we're gonna one of the things John wants to do is make preforms to sell. But if you want to get a sphere machine and you're like, man, I don't have a way to preform, there are people that make preforms that you can send them rock or they'll have rock that they'll sell you and they'll make you a preform in whatever size you want. And then you can finish it.
You're welcome. I hope it made sense. I was typing wicked fast.
Well, it's not horrible.
Hi, Jacqueline.
Move us over to the 140 grit.
Yeah, and just check the label and you can shoot me a photo. You, yeah, you don't have to open it all the way, but yeah. You guys learned a lot so far. That's good.
Hopefully this is inspiring for you guys to try this because you can see it's not horribly hard. And the reason, by the way, that we're doing all of these sphere cutting, um, cut and chats is because we are going to do a competition, and there's going to be two categories: sphere machines, spheres that are done on machines, and hand done spheres like this.
Dwayne, it'll be booked for delivery either tomorrow, Saturday, or Monday. So within the week, it'll get shipped. You're welcome. Would it not be a good, Zeke, for the production trim sub, would it not be a good idea to rig up an automatic drain pump for the production trim instead of remembering to empty the bucket?
Oh, you could definitely do that, or you could just plumb it so that it drains somewhere. We just don't have it sitting somewhere where we can easily drain it, and so a 5-gallon bucket's the easiest solution. But if I was setting it up in a permanent home where I was actually going to use it for production cutting and not just the cut and chats, I would plumb it so that I never had to go drain it.
And then is 0.2 millimeters good enough for a blade alignment?
I don't know off the top of my head if that's good enough or not. I mean, that sounds good, but I have no idea. That's really a John question. And one of the things that you guys might notice or may not notice, and it may just look random, but I'm working the stone in a pattern, and that's helping me get it rounder and rounder as I go. You don't want to just randomly move it around. What I'm doing is working like in a pattern this way, and then I'll turn it and work it in a pattern this way so that I help keep it as round as possible and make sure I hit the whole surface. Because you do have a lot of surface area on this to make sure you get all your scratches and flat spots out.
We didn't get those in the warehouse yet. Zeke, are those even on the water, the um variable kits? I think I saw
I
them.
believe I believe they are on the water.
I think they're one of the last containers that just got shipped. So month and a half, 2 months-ish. The shipping, just so you guys are aware, the shipping times are gonna change a little within the next few months, so don't freak out. Because we're gonna be getting hit with containers back to back to back. And the same people that do the live sales are the same people that ship your stuff. So like today I'm here from 8 a.m. to midnight, and then we're getting a container tomorrow, so I'm here 8 a.m. to midnight again. So I can get all that in, ship all your stuff out, and then come here and show you guys some cool rock. And then I'll be in here Saturday, and then I'll be in here Sunday. So if stuff's a little delayed, that's why. I do from about 12:15 to 7:45. But I also live 5 minutes away, so and there's a Dunkin' on the way in, so I can get a coffee.
Jordan is the best. Well, that's actually turning out way better than I thought it was going to, the way this cutting was going. That's actually significantly more round than I expected. I mean, I don't know what belt is on the expandable drum here. Let's change that out. And I have to admit, I'm pretty happy with how that's coming out.
Yes, Linda, it is. We have a lot of fun here. And for the amount that everybody works, everybody always has a wicked good attitude, and everybody's always happy to be here.
I guarantee, though, nobody was happier to be here than Brian last night.
That is very true.
What I'm doing right now is putting on a 220 grit belt. I don't think I've ever seen somebody so excited to cut an agate, and he was having the time of his life.
He was cheesing when he was showing me his cuts yesterday. Oh, I'm so mad. I slept right through the live sale last night when I went home. I wanted to watch. Yeah, Brian's enthusiasm is for sure infectious. I went home. I left here at 5. I hopped on the computer from like 5:15 to 6:30, and then as soon as I lay down, I was gonna take a quick nap, but my quick nap turned into 6:30 to 12:30. Zeke, are you 220 on the expandable drum, or what grit is this right now?
Yeah, I just put 220 grit belt on it.
If they were talking about me, I had no idea. I was exhausted. I woke up and didn't even know what planet I was on. That's so funny, Jeff. I'll have to have the team give me the recording for last night so I can watch. I'm sad I missed it. You know what's funny is I have a espresso machine at home and I literally have coffee to make, but I roll out of bed too late to make something. But he is looking into one for here. And we have a Keurig in the break room. I know, I love it. I love my espresso machine too when I actually use it.
Have you actually used it?
Oh yeah, I've used it. Kat's used it more than I have because what's mine is hers, but um yes, I have used it. I made a bunch of brown sugar shaken espressos
Oh, that's fun.
with probably 3 shots of espresso in 1 cup, but whatever keeps me awake. Oh my gosh, those are my favorite.
All right. Now this is where it starts getting real important to check your preform and make sure that you're actually getting rid of the scratches because when such a curved surface, it's very, very easy to miss spots. So I'm gonna grab some paper towels, wipe this off, and then we'll check it. See, like you can see little spots like right there. This the where it's whiter is still scuffed up, a little bit right there.
Hi, Leslie.
This is why it's nicer to not do such a soft material, because something like Tiger Eye or like Bambi would be a really good one, are not going to grind in too much. Because like if you try to get a scratch out and you end up grinding a little too far, you'll change the shape of it a lot. All right, looks like we're doing pretty good on this. So we'll fire this back up, do a little bit longer on the 220 grit here, then we can go over to the 600.
Yep, I just responded to you, Stanley.
If you have a wet belt sander, this would also be the point in time where I would go over and loosen the belt on the wet belt sander and use the dead space on the belt where there's no backing. And I would use that to have the belt kind of wrap around the preform. It's also nice to pick something that has a pattern in the material. Like the Tiger Eye is a seam, so it's easy to look at and always know which direction it should be going. If you had something that was one color, it would be a little bit harder to know where you're done. So I definitely would practice this. I love that red in this one. That's got nice flash to it too. I definitely would practice this on something that is not one blanket pattern or one blanket color. Well, to that, I would say pick the thing that you're most excited about and do that one. Before I decide what project I'm going to do, I usually walk around and look at the rock and just whatever speaks to me the most in that moment is usually what I end up working on. I was looking like last night I was up on Etsy and I saw some blue jade bracelets that were well, they were like $3,000 a bracelet. And all I can think about is making one of those beaded bracelets now. Like I got to set up the ultrasonic drill so that I can do some bracelets with Brian. All right, we'll wipe this off again and see how we're doing. That's a pretty good round for just do freehanding it. This one is probably about an inch and a half to about an inch and a quarter. Oh, hey, Jordan, will you save that for me? I'd love to look at that later.
Yep, all set.
Thank you. Oh, for the bracelet? No, for the bracelet, I would do 10 millimeter beads. All right, this look pretty darn good. We're gonna go over to the 600 and clean this up. And we should be able to get rid of all those little flat spots and ridges from the shaping, and then it'll get this polished.
Zekery,
Yeah,
for a 10-inch saw and a 6-inch CAD machine, what would you say is the largest piece you could make? Or largest ball you could make?
a 10-inch trim saw. You could do a 3-inch. That's gonna be really pushing it, but you could pull off a 3-inch doing it that way. I am now that I'm to the resin wheel, I am pushing harder to get the belt or the wheel to wrap around the face of the stone a little bit better, smooth it out. I am really excited to see all the preforms you guys make, or all the little spheres you guys make. Because if you got a CAD machine and a trim saw, that's all we use to make this.
What grit was the last gray wheel you were using?
220 grit in place of a 280 grit. Right now I'm using 600.
Hey, Carol. We cut
Half
this
inch
on
in
the
PT.
and we cut this on the production trim saw, which is a 8-inch blade.
That's so funny. Oh, and I don't know if you guys got the email. But Lizelle said I had to extend the deal offered last night because it wasn't long enough for you guys. So she gave it to everybody till tonight.
That a girl is though. Woohoo.
Because that was a really killer deal last night. Yeah, that was some really good tiger eye. Nice splash in that. I love that cherry colored.
Zikri, what size ball valve on the 10-inch trim saw?
Half-inch MPT. So a tiger eye sphere like this, here's where you run into the problem. You could buy a tiger eye sphere like this mass produced in China or India and probably get it for somewhere between, depending on the quality, somewhere between 20 and 40 bucks. One like this, I would put, like, if I was going to sell this, I'd probably put it out for like 75 to 100 bucks. And I'd tell people this was completely handmade. And to somebody, that's going to be more valuable because you hand did it, but not because it's tiger eye. But someone will buy it because you completely hand did it. Yeah, you could finish it in a tumbler, depending on the material. One like this would not finish well in a tumbler because you got a couple spots that are a little bit softer, like that top area. But if you wanted to do shows and sit there and make marbles, you definitely would get a higher dollar if you said you handmade every marble on the table and then you'd have all be like this size.
Ted wants a medium island agate deal, please. Does it matter if you're sanding in the direction of the fibers?
No, I go both directions. All right, let me wipe this off and see how good we're doing on the polish. Oh, I love that face right there. Man, we should do some tote out of that bin at Tiger Eye tonight. Literally, this was the first piece I walked over there and picked up. I was like, oh, that's a good size. Easy, has beautiful pattern in it.
Yeah, this stuff is
All
a lot of
right,
fun.
that's all dried up. So you can see we look pretty good on the polish. There's a couple little areas that aren't as good as I'd like them to be. But overall, it's decent. Do it a little bit more on the 600, and then we'll move to the 1200.
Do you ever check sizing with calipers or you're eyeballing it?
Well, there's nothing to really check with the calipers on this one, unless you're going for exact size, or you're trying to be perfectly round. You're never gonna get it perfect by hand doing it this way. But this whole time I've pretty much just been eyeballing it.
Will this cut and chat be on Facebook? I'm not sure.
So I probably, well, Goldstone, yeah, Goldstone would be a good one to do this out of. It's a good hardness to do this. That would actually look pretty cool, a little Goldstone sphere. Oh yeah, gold sheen would be fun. If somebody needs to check that.
Hold on, I'm looking. I think someone forgot to put the 0 at the end.
Yeah, no kidding. Would lose a whole bunch of money on those.
That's fun.
That's less. That's like half the price of 1 pound.
Hey, Lizelle, you wanna help me out with that one? Linda, thank you for being honest and messaging me. I appreciate it. Thank you, Lizelle.
These are 8-inch whales.
I used to tell people that at the restaurant all the time. Are you just doing this one, Zikri?
I only intended to do one, but if there's a lot of requests to do another, we could probably whip out another.
Zeke, how do your wheels go against?
Uh, my wheels are 80 grit, 140 grit, then a 280, or I'm sorry, then a 220 grit expanding drum, then 600, 1200, and I have 8,000 on here, although I'd prefer 3,000.
600, 800, and then what?
600, 1200,
Oh,
and
1200.
then 8,000. Yeah, I would too.
Sure thing.
And
Oh
the
yeah,
grips are not super important. As long as they're semi close to those grips.
the few of you
My
that
hands don't
want
really get tired doing this. I used to do this 12 hours at a time with only short breaks in between. All right, let's dry that off and check it. See how we're looking here. And then we'll buff this with the leather and cerium, and it should have pretty decent polish on it.
Oh my, I'd get frustrated if I tried. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't really watching him.
That's actually what I thought. I was like, well, I could have Jordan try, and then I'm like, I'd have to do another one to teach Jordan because she probably wasn't watching that whole time.
I was helping people. Usually I do watch, but there were a lot of stock questions, so my eyes were back and forth between the chat and the system. Exactly, Bill. That's usually how it goes.
I'm playing and you're working.
Yeah, you got it.
You got it, dude.
It does. That's why we like doing the teaching stuff. So that way it slows him down a bit, for sure. Zeke, you selling the sphere tonight?
No. Kidding me after all this work? I'm gonna put this in my cabinet at home.
I'll sell it Saturday.
What I will do though is we could do tote on the Tiger I've been, and you guys could make one like this.
Lizelle, can you help me out with Marvin's request? Thanks, Lizelle. Marvin, they'll get you hooked up with that. We're at a 600 grit at the moment, though. Is the jump from 1,200 to 8,000 any different than to 3,000?
No, it'll do just fine. Back in the day, everybody used to go from 1,200 to 14,000 on all the cab machines, and then it got switched to 3,000, and so you could do either. I prefer 3,000, but 8,000 will work. That's so funny.
Z, can you try and explain the pressure that you're putting on this? Do your best.
Pressure is a very hard thing to teach. I'm not pushing very hard on this. I'm pushing hard enough that it's pushing into the wheel a little bit, but I'm letting the wheel work. I'm not doing, I'm not pushing really hard on it excessively. When I'm doing the grinding, I'm pushing a lot harder to get the shape out as fast as I can.
All right, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Thanks, George.
All right. I think that should be about good enough that we can check this one, and then we'll go do leather and cerium on the wet belt sander. I love that red color in this one. Man, that is so cool. That's not bad. And it's a bit more round than I was expecting. So now what I'm gonna do, you could do this on the cab machine too, but I like to do it on the wet belt sander, and it's already set up right here. Although it appears that someone has been taking apart my wet belt sander. I think Tay was taking stuff apart. This I'm definitely pushing more into the wheel because I want that leather to wrap around the stone. And I do want it to get a little bit warm because I want that pulling feeling. So I'm getting a really good polish. And then I see you guys are asking questions. Jordan's just getting back. She'll read those off and
Um, I think that the stock is not accurate on that. I don't think we have any. We don't have any 600 at all. Yeah. Lizelle, can we fix the website on that? You're welcome. We're dealing with a couple inventory hiccups, so Kat, you want to say hi?
Hello, everyone. Me and Chantel are up in 26 working away on all the machines.
If
All
you
the
look,
RT23s.
if you look right there, you can say hi.
Where?
Right underneath the hood. If you bend down.
I literally can't see.
Oh, there you go. Cat's right there.
Oh.
Hello.
Hello.
Cat was just staring at me like, they
Yeah,
can
I was
see
like,
me?
what? No, like what hood? I'm blind.
Do me and Kat look alike? Yes or no? People say we sound alike.
Oh, I was behind Brian when he was on the fork truck the other day, and I said, Brian, don't run me over. I'm behind you. And he turns around and he's like, I thought you were Jordan. I'm like, nope, just me. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. All right. Have fun in 26.
Oh, we will.
That looks good, Zachary.
Thank you.
Sure thing.
Do a little bit more in some spot. And then this I'll have to buff with Zam later.
Yeah, she is. That's the sister that you guys like never see because she works at a golf course when she's not here. Why is Zam on that part, Zachary?
Because it's hematite, a lot of hematite in that part. And the Zam will help bring up the shine on the hematite to that metallic-y goodness. All right, let me go wash this one, and then we're done. And you put soap on a sphere, and it is a little tricky to hold on to.
Just a bit. So when you pick that one side for the picture, which would you use? Are you talking about which face of the
For the
sphere?
competition,
Oh, yeah.
which just whatever one is the most eye-catching shows up the best in the picture. Every sphere has one spot that is like, okay, that is the spot, whether the whole sphere is great or not. But especially the one like Tiger Eye, which would be a great one to do in the competition, because everybody loves it. You're going to get one spot like on this one where you're going to get the brightest, best flash, and that's how I would pick the placement for the picture. And a lot of people will really try to get the glare off the sphere, but actually having a little bit of reflection on your sphere will help make it look more like a sphere and not a disc.
And then, I lost it. What speed on the wet belt sander to polish?
The slow setting, you always use the slow setting for the leather.
And then, hold on, I'm reading the other one. Can you charge a felt pad with cerium on the cab machine? Felt/canvas.
Yeah, it's the same process where you're just putting the on there with like a toothbrush. Yeah, still got the little fuzzies from the paper towel on there.
Would you recommend doing silicon carbide on the wet belt sander for this stuff or diamond belts?
I mean, diamond's usually going to cut better, but like this one, man, area right here is really good for the picture. What I used when I had my shop when I was doing this kind of stuff, I would use silicon carbide for the aggressive grits, go through a lot of them, and then I would use diamond on the finer grits.
We
Awesome. Well,
don't.
does that help you?
Go ahead, Zeke.
Does that help you guys out on the cutting by hand? Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna go look for another rock to do another one because I had a bunch of people put in the comments that they wanted to see another one.
Okay, Zeke, do you have a video for us who kept our new wet belt sanders machines / motors that shows how to change the belt? Oh, do you have the video of the process changing the pulley with the radiator pick?
Oh, there should be one. Man, there's so many good options of things to pick. I'm
Would
walking around
malachite be
having a
one that
hard.
you could do? Or no? Or would it be a pain in the butt?
Malachite, with the only problem with doing with malachite, and the reason I didn't jump on doing that is because I could not be as aggressive as I was with the Tiger Eye. I'd have to be a tad bit more gentle with it. The Bumblebee
Oh.
might be fun though, or the Lapis. Let's see, Bumblebee, Lapis, um, Thulite could be a fun one.
You guys gotta put stuff in the chat for what you want.
Unikite.
Whip them around while you can.
Sodalite would be a fun one too.
That's Sodalite. That batch is so good.
Oh, Ruby's Oysite would also be fun.
Right now, Thulite's winning.
Little pink marble. I have to admit, I never thought I'd be in here cutting spheres by hand. Now I'm like, this is actually kind of fun. Was that the general consensus? Was too late.
Got a couple. Got that one, that one, that one. And got
Oh
two
man,
Bumblebee. Few Bumblebee.
everybody's. All right, well, it seems to be between Thulite and Bumblebee, so put a couple more people vote. I grabbed a piece of Thulite. I'll have to go grab a piece of Bumblebee. You guys are almost perfectly split. All right, well, we're going to do Thulite then because it was about 50-50. And I'm already holding a nice chunk of Thulite.
Hi, Cindy. Thumblebee. That's freaking hilarious. Do an Intarsia sphere of both, Zeke.
Let's see, I think that's going to be about the right size to do the same size of sphere. We'll have a whole little batch of marbles tonight. Oh, got the tape measure. Check. Oh, this one's thicker, but that's okay. We can cut it down. Man, I really had the water flowing earlier. I filled up that bucket fast. That is one reason I do like using the baffle tank that we have to recirculate the water. So you're not using as much water. Because normally 15 gallons of water in that baffle tank lasts me a couple weeks. And honestly, it usually gets more filmy and like, ooh, then it's just run out. All right. So if you missed earlier, what I did was I set the fence up on this so that I could cut a nice little block out. And then we can cut the corners off. So you always start by freehanding your first cut, and then you can use the fence.
Yeah, my sisters are checking the stock for you, David. And then Lozelle, you want to help work that out so we can get him taken care of, please. Thank you much.
The saw is not quiet per se, so much as just that we're wearing noise canceling headphones. This is the stainless steel production trim saw. And we offered a little bit of a deal on this tonight.
This is too late. Team, y'all want to throw that deal in the chat for the production trim saw?
So the big upside to this trim saw, and if you notice, look at the deck down here and look how few through-light chips there are. I'm cutting wicked fast and it's not destroying the material. This saw is designed to run at like 3,500 RPMs, I think, or 3,800 RPMs, and cut wicked fast. And it's our production trim saw, so it's designed to sit in front of and produce a lot. It's got the water manifold that sprays right onto the blade, or you could use oil. It's an 8-inch blade. It's got a replaceable deck. Like if you watch all the videos online of people doing agates, their table's all worn out. This is replaceable for when you do that. And the it's also designed so that you can vent out of the back of this. So you can have air sucking out the back of this if you're using oil to get rid of your oil mist. And this particular one that we have at the moment is in stainless steel, which is awesome.
Do we have any of the production trim saws that we're asking, Jeff?
Do we have what?
I wasn't talking to you, Zeke. Sorry, I was talking to Jeff.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. Thank you, Lozelle. Oh yeah, we have the Thulite. If you guys want to do tote out of that, or if Zeke wants to do a deal, Zekery, thoughts, questions?
We could do a through-light deal.
Man, my sisters are shipping like crazy. Yeah, if you
So
guys
you
want to
guys
do
can
smile
see
and
how
agate.
fast you can just whip through this, and it's not destroying the material. One of the other things is that this saw has 2 nylon pins that hold the blade in place. All right, and then just like last time, I'm going to show you guys marking this one, although I clearly did a terrible job of actually using the markings. Hopefully this inspires you guys a little bit, because I mean, as much as experience as I have doing other things, this one's the first one that I've done totally by hand. This will be the second. What I discovered earlier is that the spacers off of our CAD machines are like the perfect size to mark these like 1.5 inch spheres. So I just found something that was round so that I can mark it so I knew about where to cut. So you want to cut these corners off. And I would mark all 4 sides so you can see it, but we're going to do those 2 sides. See if we can make this one go a little bit faster. Yeah, well, I got excited when I was tightening the valve. That is a common complaint around the warehouse that I tend to over tighten things like that, and then nobody else can open them.
This is true.
And just like earlier, I cut right into our circle. Well, this is a good repeat of cutting way too far on every one of these faces again.
We are. Hey, Brad. He does. It makes it very hard, especially when he doesn't come in till later and you're just like standing there like, I need you to loosen this, dude. That's true, John. He is.
So you can see we got kind of a. You guys can see that why we say the core drill so nice, because the first cut on the core drill is about that many cuts on a saw, and now we're going to cut off these corners. Someone asked earlier, these are all about 45 degrees. So you should end up with something, hopefully you do a little bit better job than me. Something about like that. Now we'll flip it over and do all the same cuts on the other side.
Oh my God, Ed, I love that.
All right, there's our, oof, that one's brutal. Roughly shaped sphere preform. Now what I'm going to do, because this saw is set up with the nylon pins, is I'm going to take some of these edges off with the side of the blade.
You guys have any questions while he's chugging along?
All right, there's our crude preform. With a little extra time spent, you definitely could cut a better one than I did. This one is definitely going to be less round. All right, so we're going to start it again over here on our 80 grit wheel and just rough it out, and it'll get finer and finer as we go. And as I said earlier, you don't want to grind. Oh, man, I really screwed up this side. You don't want to grind on the flat parts, just the high ridges, because the flat spots are your low points.
He's on 80 grit right now. And I just threw the wheel progression in the chat for you guys. What sizes is the mix CQ said?
The mixed stuff, it's going to be like tumbling size pieces all the way up to big chunks. Like there's a whole range in there.
Yeah, if I did this, it would have a lot of flat spots.
The other thing I was saying earlier, if you guys, a lot of you have slab saws, you could buy the sphere jigs and just make a sphere preform the proper way on the saw, and then polish it by hand. That's basically what we did. But the only reason I did it on a trim saw tonight is because I wanted to do it if it was all by hand.
Yeah, I'd need to really watch them.
Yeah, we sell sphere jigs, where you put it in the saw and they help you cut out a preform.
Thank you. Took a lot of patience for that one.
So the sphere jig in the saw is not round enough to go into the sphere machine. You still have to grind the corners off.
Here, I'm gonna throw the link in the chat for you guys. That's to the set of 3. So you'll get a 30 mil, a 50 mil, and a 100 mil on that one.
Yeah, this one's a lot more crude than the Tiger Eye was. You can see also why it helps doing something with a pattern to it, like the Tiger Eye. Because you can see a little bit better.
So you can go sphere jig to the cab machine.
Yeah, you could.
And then would this be, after you're done on this wheel, would it be good enough to just pop it in the sphere machine? If you get it
Yeah,
round enough.
that's good. That's good enough to go into the sphere machine.
Do you have a
Do
sphere
you
jig
guys
down
want
here?
to? I do.
Where?
That's a good question.
Probably maybe the green shelf question mark?
Uh, it's probably over on. Oh yeah, I can see it from here. It's over on the table next to the grippers.
Okay.
I mean, we theoretically could just go stick this in the sphere machine and round it out.
This thingy?
Yes. Will you hand me that preform, the Tutela Jasper on the.
Yep.
So this is a sphere jig. You take this and on I like to do these on the little bit bigger saws, like 16 to 20-inch saws are good for this size. You can see you use a C-clamp and clamp this to the vise of your saw, and you cut out a cube, and then your cube goes in here, and you can cut all the corners off. And then this is one that's been through the sphere jig. And once you end up with this, then you can sit here and grind these ridges off and get it rounded out. And then that could go in the sphere machine. All right, now we're going to move over to the 140 grit on this light.
Oh, yep. They're on the list to get photographed, Ed. I'll post a photo of that to the the Highland Park lapidary equipment group for you guys because it's on the website. I'll post it up right now. Thank you, Lizelle. The Rough Rock deal was
We had a collection come in that we really haven't even gone through it yet. We showed a little bit, a couple pieces out of it last night. But I offered a deal on that.
there you guys
Just
posted
gonna
them.
be out of that collection.
The size limitations on the different jigs.
So you can't go smaller than the jig size, but you can go bigger. So like a 30 mm jig, you can't do smaller than a 30 mm freeform because you still gotta be able to clamp the rock. But you could do, 30 mm to up to the 2 inch. And then your 50 mm jig, I'd use your 2 inch to maybe 3.5, 4 inch. And then the 100 mm jig is going to be your 4 inch and up.
Yeah, they're working on fixing the website. It's a work in progress for sure. Hi, Jeanette. How's it going? Zeke, could you just answer that polishing stage question?
I didn't see it.
Oh, okay. During the polishing stages, when you stop to look at the stone, what are you looking for that you either do more on the same wheel or move to the next?
What I'm looking for is frosted areas that aren't as shiny on the polishing stages. We have a video up on YouTube of going through the process of that sphere cutting jig. The problem is like we couldn't do a cut and chat with the sphere jig because it just takes too long and it's too boring to sit there and watch a hood of a saw for that long. Team, can you help Frank out getting that video?
I
All
got
right,
it. It's
we're
right here.
getting better on this too light. It's still a little eggish.
Here, Frank, I just put the link there for you. And then for everybody wondering about the sphere jigs, I'll post a photo of that, of the sphere jig, and I'll post the link to the YouTube video. Team, you want to throw the link to the Highland Park groups in there? The Facebook groups. I'll post it in the lapidary equipment group, and that link will take you to the sphere jig video. Thanks, John. I appreciate it.
This is also good practice to do high dome cabs.
That's funny, Ed.
The better your preform is, definitely the easier it is to keep it round. All right, I think that's about as good as we're gonna get it on this one. So let's oh well, maybe this one more spot. I'm like, oh, I feel one more spot. Let's go to the 220 grit belt. Or this would be a 280 grit wheel if you have just a normal setup. Hey Jordy, how much is the
Yes.
Thuleta pound?
I want to say 65.
Thought that was 50.
Oh yeah, 50, sorry. Yeah, 50.
All right. On the Thulite, I'll offer you guys a deal tonight. We're getting kind of low on it actually. The Thulite, I'll go 2 pounds for $85. Or we'll do 10 pounds for 400.
Hi, Michael.
Oh, hey, and did we ever sell that refurbished CB6 and that HD14 with the cracked hood?
Mm, I have no idea. Thanks, Charlie. The one that he
That one, I'm pretty sure it's refurbished. It just has the crack in the hood. I don't think it's a new unit. I think it's been used. You guys should have seen the pallets of machines going out earlier. Chantel and Kat are going crazy shipping out machines.
You want to see a funny photo that Kat sent to us? In the large island agate deal, how much do you get?
Is that 8 pounds?
I believe so. Yes. Like
Probably like anywhere from 4 to 1 agate. Generally, though, they're not going to do one. It's probably going to be like 2 to 4.
these are all the labels that Kat and Chantel did.
Holy crap. That's got to be 25 feet of labels.
And that's just for the 10 TSSs. So they cleared out the backlog of those. And then next they were working on the RT3Ls. So exactly, Scott. That's right. But we cleared out that warehouse of pretty much a good chunk of the back ordered parts. We're gonna have another wave come through this weekend, and then we'll get a container tomorrow. We'll ship out probably another 10 to 15 pallets of machines by Monday.
Oh, Chantel told me earlier that we should have an extra 29 10 TSSs come in on this next container. So if you guys been like, wait until they come into stock, now is your chance because they should be coming in this week. We should have that's 29 extra from what is already sold, which is rare that we have that many more than sold. And by next week those will all be gone again. So if you've been thinking about a 10-inch trim saw, now is a good time to get one.
Yeah, those aren't going to last very long, let me tell you.
Oh, that turned out better than I expected.
She does, Lizelle. It's crazy. My brother is actually my twin, though. He looks just like me.
What's the price on that 10 TSS?
$850. It does. It comes with a thin line blade, right, Zeke?
It's not a stainless steel blade. You still got to drain it so it doesn't rust. Stainless steel would not be a good material for a blade. But yes, it does come with a thin line blade. And for the first time in a long time, well, we will have those in stock. Literally, it's since we started making those, they are pretty much been on back order.
You can run oil in the 10 TSS?
Oh, definitely. I did.
I'm thinking it's time Zeke does another sphere machine deal.
Well, I did offer a deal on the production trim saw earlier.
I feel like you do
Oh,
too,
definitely,
Kristen.
Kristen, you're pretty new to the hobby, right? Do you have any equipment other than the 20-inch saw you just ordered?
Trim saw on a CB8 she has on the way.
Oh, good. Okay.
What exactly is the question, Jeff? If they're here, if they're getting shipped?
He is asking if they're coming in yet.
I think they came out on this container. Let me check. Pretty sure.
No, I think we got a couple of regular ones. Oh, that's awesome. Probably at least a few months. So the only saws that come with the thin line blade are the trim saws and the Precision 12. We make thin line blades all the way up to an 18-inch, which for you, Rick, that's probably what you want is like an 18-inch because you're doing all the sphere cutting. So you got a lot of bigger rock laying around.
Mm. Those ones that came in are regular, you said?
I'm pretty certain. Oh, awesome. Okay, yeah. See, I knew you needed something bigger.
That's a good.
I asked Chantel to open one to make sure.
I don't know that she got around to that.
It will not, Ed. All right, let's dry this thing off and see how we're doing. I love it, Jack. Well, looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm curious. After watching me do 2 of these marbles, does this inspire you to want to do them by hand or inspire you to want to get a sphere machine?
Or both. I'd be doing both to see how close I could get to doing it on the sphere machine. Yep. My kind of people, for sure. It's always good. You know, I was telling you guys the other night about on Monday about working your way up from the bottom all the way to the top.
How many people want a sphere machine tonight? The sphere machines don't take up much room if you get an LSSM. You only need 2 feet of workbench-ish.
I have not.
Okay, 27 by 27 inches.
I've only had to muck out some Everclean cans, but we're getting the boys on that. The more that they use the saws.
All right, so what I'm gonna do for you guys tonight, because I'm not supposed to be doing deals, so um, don't tell John. If you buy a spare machine on the live event tonight, an LSSM or an HSSM, I'll give you 10% off any spear cups you want to get. Well, because we're still paying a 55% tariff on machines right now. And so they're still costing us a fortune to ship over here. But that's a really good deal because if you get a couple different sizes of machines or a couple different sizes of cups, it could be a big savings. And if anybody is like, man, I really want to get into sphering and start producing a lot of spheres, I will do a special deal on a entire sphere setup, like what I had in my shop. But that one I'm not gonna just post as a deal. You gotta message me if you want that. That way the team can't tell John how good of a deal I did. That's hilarious. Low speed spare machines are pretty quiet. And if you want that deal, but you're not sure what size sphere cups you want, um, you can just take the deal and we'll help you figure out the sphere cups. That's why you got to message me for the deal. That sounds pretty great, Michael.
It is $1,347 for the low speed. Yeah, my sisters just got done. They sent out 10 pallets of machines for you guys so you can get them quick. Zekri.
Well,
Oh, I did that backwards. What would be a good starter set on a couple of the cups, and what sizes would you recommend?
I would get, if I was brand new and getting into sphere cutting, I'd probably only get 2 to 3 sets at the most, unless you know you're going to get crazy into it. And if I did that, I would get the stuff to make like 2 to 3 inch, or maybe 1.5 to 4 inch, something in that range. But your 2 to 4 inch are going to be your most popular ones.
Oh, yep, they got that taken care of too. That's hilarious, Angela. That's awesome, Colin. Did it ship today? Was it one of the ones? I thought I might have saw your name on the list earlier.
Let's check this and now we can probably move to the next step.
Let me look.
That looks pretty good. I was just laughing because I was thinking if I had bought these steers from somebody, the first thing I would do is stick them in the high-speed machine and round them out.
Being single does have a lot of advantages. That is very true.
For some of us, our advantages are why we're singles. Because we have too much fun.
This is true. And then Colin, you're on the next shipment, next container, which comes in tomorrow. So yours will ship. I'll be in here Saturday and Sunday, so it'll get picked up Monday. That's very true, Jeff. I don't have the patience to answer to anybody.
No kidding. If you guys have seen that TikTok where they're like, lead me when I want to be led. That is the epitome of Jordan.
I go to the beat of my own drum. Isn't that saying, right? How much longer does it take for a sphere on the LSSM versus the HSSM, Zeke?
So like a 3-inch sphere, I can do on the sphere machine, I timed it once on the high-speed sphere machine. I did it in just under 20 minutes. That's after the preform was made. Like that's just sphere machine grinding time. That doesn't even count the time for me to change the cups. On the low speed sphere machine, you'd probably spend 2 hours, 3 hours doing the same process. But it also needs less attention. So if you had a low speed machine, you could set it up next to your cab machine and sit there and make cabs while you run the low speed machine with no problem. And you could still finish a sphere, every night or a couple, a handful a week while you made cabs. But it really depends on the size because like one like this would probably take probably about an hour in the low speed sphere machine. Maybe not even quite that long.
That's gonna be stuck in my head. Lead me when I want to be led. That's so sweet, Cindy. He's a good egg.
All right. On our last wheel here, and then we'll go buff this thing. This one definitely felt like it went a lot faster. Oh, I think I ran out of water.
Yeah. Give me a sec.
Oh, thank you, Jordan.
Yep.
Speaking of water, I need some water for me.
My sisters
Thank
were
you,
so
Brad.
kind and left me with their trash.
Oh, and they took the rest of the gummies. How rude.
I ate those. Those were mine.
Oh,
Nice try.
I know I was gonna come steal some more.
Now that I think about it, my sisters are probably starving because they didn't go to dinner.
Oh,
Oops.
that's funny.
They had Snapple for dinner. Hi,
Hey,
Robert.
Robert.
Two inches, Carol. What do you mean it doesn't spin on the screen, James?
Was probably lagging.
Yeah.
Well, what I'll do is I'll shoot a video on making a sphere by hand, and that way you don't have to watch the 4-hour cut and chat to see what I did. All right, that one looks pretty darn good. Let's buff this one, and then if you guys want to do a tow, or if you have questions about sphere machines, we can show the sphere machines. Oh Lord,
What
my
was that?
machine is falling apart because somebody took it all apart.
Well, that's not good. Anyone have any questions on sphere machines or any of that jazz? Of course, Robert.
That should be our next giveaway, a sphere machine.
Mm. This is the wet belt sander right now. How do you keep the sphere from flying out of your hands?
What I do is I pinch it like this, and I'm rolling it so it's going around the whole wheel as I'm doing it. But that way I can keep at least a few fingers on it at all times. So they sure are slippery to hold against the polishing wheel.
That's fun, Robert. I was picking up what you were putting down, the Cal Sydney. Team David wants that 4-pound #1 medium deal, please.
All right. All done by hand. See that one? The face to take the picture of is right there. And if you guys missed earlier, this is the tiger eye one we did at the beginning. Thank you. Got all wet from sitting on the wet paper towel. There we go. That's pretty cute.
Thanks, Gary. Zekri, what was in the mixed rough again, you said?
That's lots of like agates and jaspers and petrified wood and weird stuff. We haven't gone through a lot of it yet. Thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. Yeah, I'm really excited. So if you guys haven't heard already, oh, excuse me, we're gonna do a competition on spheres, and there's gonna be two categories. One for hand done spheres like this, and one for ones that are done on a machine, like the LSSM. Yeah, I'm gonna stick these in my personal collection because, like, man, that's cool. These are the first two that I've done that are actually like all the way done by hand. The last time I did, the only other one I've done by hand, I did in the shaping machine first, which gives you pretty much a perfect ball already.
Team Sona, mark that down for Jeff, please.
If you could feel them, you can feel that they were done by hand. But yeah, for honestly, if you go to shows, this is still a better than a lot of the mass-produced ones you see. So a lot of those mass-produced ones are done by hand. This one you can especially feel it. Like if you rub your finger across it, you can feel the little flat spots. But very fun.
Zeke, why don't we poke over to a sphere machine before we head to the totes? Harriet wants to see one. We'll do both for you guys.
Okay. I actually have a little Peter site sphere that I'm working on. So why don't we do the next step of that Peter site sphere?
I will do my darndest to make sure everybody gets fair pick.
Let's see. All the questions, where'd the Peter site go? Oh, stuck it over here. I got this little Peter site ball that I've been working on. And it is ready for the 400 polishing cups. It just went through the 400 grinding cups. Well, let me go grab the 400 polishing cups, and we'll run it through that.
Zeke, is that Peter's site personal collection?
Yeah.
And we don't have any of this rough now.
No,
Maybe
we
a
would
piece like here
Peter's
or there,
site.
but
Yeah, when we get it, it goes so fast because that stuff is just so good, and it's very expensive. The last piece that we sold that would have cut a ball like that, I think was $1,500. It was really good. Or was that really bright flash? That was on the live event. I'll have to go through John's cabbing select. He may have a couple pieces in there.
that's so funny, Stanley.
All right, and then on the sphere heads, I usually use like my chest to hold one, and I'll pull the another one with the bungee cord into each other, so that these are easier to put on. And then what I do is I'll move you over this way. And what I do is I use my elbows to push two of the heads down, and my hand to move the third one back there. And then on the sphere machines, you want it to be enough tension that it's holding the ball nicely. You should be able to pull the head back and lift up the sphere a little bit. And we're going to do more on the sphere machines. We'll just do a little bit tonight. Get a little bit of water on there. Just want a little bit of a drip, not much. You can see we're running too much tension on this head. So you even out, you kind of want it to be moving in an X pattern.
All right, Lizelle, I got that. Thank you. Zeke, did you explain the difference between the 400 grinding and polishing?
So the 400 grinding is metal bond. Like they're metal, there's diamond embedded in metal, and they're very aggressive. The 400 polish cups is a polymer resin with the diamond embedded in it. So it's like going from the 220 grit hard wheel to the 280 grit soft wheel. So even though they're the same grit, it's one of the most important steps in the sphering process that we do. And you can see right now I'm putting pressure on the heads because I'm actually making them cut a little bit faster. And I'm making sure it's got that perfect rotation where it's kind of moving in an X pattern. When we show you guys on the high speed sphere machine, it's a lot easier to see the pattern. The low speed machine, once you set it up, can pretty much run without very much supervision. Yeah, you can kind of see it's moving in that zigzag pattern. And so like a step like this on something this soft doesn't take very long, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes at the most. It's very hypnotic to sit here and watch the sphere machine turn. These
know
are
the
turning at
RPMs?
105 RPMs.
And then what happens if you let it go too long on this cup? Like if you lose track of time.
You're just wasting cup.
The little white trim saw behind the sphere machine.
Oh, that's the one that'll get you. That John's working on building something similar for faceting. That's going to be a little like 4-inch saw.
How long do the cups last, Secret?
Most people, very long time. There's no real answer to that because each grit will last a different amount of time. And I've seen people go through a set of cups in 3 spheres because they didn't know what they're doing. And I've done sets that lasted hundreds of spheres. The cups you're going to wear out the most are going to be like your 80 grit cups. They'll wear out by far the fastest. Then your 220 grit cups are going to be up there as well. And then your 400 grit polishing cups are going to wear out next. 8,000 grit cups, though, man, I don't know that I've ever worn out an 8,000 grit cup. So these cups don't have a replaceable part. You just have to replace the whole cup. The other cups you can solder segments onto. John is trying to work on a design where these are replaceable, but has not finished that yet. But you're gonna do lots of spheres on cups like this before they wear out. It's really gonna be your beginner cups before they wear out.
Yeah, of course, David.
And the grinding cups that wear out the fastest, you can just buy segments and solder the segments back on.
Zeke, could you take a worn out 400 polishing cup and make it a leather polishing cup?
Oh, definitely. The leather cups are these. It's a stainless steel cup that we have canvas and leather on. That's got cerium on the leather for doing final polish.
This machine is $1,347.
And I did offer a deal tonight for anybody that buys this machine tonight. I'll do 10% off the sphere cups for you that you order with the machine. Oh, that's gonna be nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, man, that's gonna be such a good sphere when it's done. Sitting here oohing and awing at it. See, again, this is the one that definitely, this face right here is going to be the face to display it with because it'll have the biggest flash. So this machine, we tell people 6 inches. You theoretically could push it all the way up to, I've heard of people doing as big as 10 inches in this machine, but that's really, really hard on these motors. And your preform has to be really good. So if it really depends on how hard you want to be on the machine. Most people, though, 2 to 4 inch is going to be the most popular. I really like these 1.5 inch marbles like this. This is probably my favorite size to actually make.
A complete set from start to finish costs for 2-inch sphere cups.
Look up how much is a 1 and 9/16 inch cup. You can just give me the price of one of them, and I'll tell you what a set costs.
34.
$34.
Oh wait, nope, sorry, 39.
39. All right. So if you're gonna do a 2-inch sphere, you're looking at $936 for a full set of the cups. That doesn't include the leather polishing cups, which for most materials you don't need anyway. But it really depends on what you're doing. Like a lot of agates, I'll just use the 8,000 grade cups. Then they look great. And if you bought that tonight with a sphere machine, you're looking at $842.40 for a full set of cups to do a 2-inch sphere. And then what was the price of the sphere machine? 1,347.
Yes.
So if you wanted to get a set of cups, the 10% off, and a sphere machine, an LSSM like the one I'm just using, your price would be $2,189.40 for that setup. Any other questions on that? Man, I do want to sit and finish this sphere now. I think I'm gonna have to sphere tonight because I'm like, man, that is a good ball.
How about with the fast machine?
The
The high
price?
speed?
Let's see. What's the price of a high speed?
I'm looking. 3,597.
So if you got the set of cups to do a 2-inch sphere and the high speed machine, you'd be looking at $4,439.40. Yeah, it's a fun process. Sphere making is very addictive. There's this one that's sitting over here that I'm working on. The Wi-Fi has been going out here lately because all the storms. That'll be a fun one. And then this is, if you guys watched that video I did, this would be one where I got contamination and it got all these scratches in it. But that's gonna be a beautiful fluorite sphere when it's done. This one, if you put the light to it, really lights up. Oh, let me actually grab the light. Show you guys this one. I'm really sad that I have to take this one back and grind it down again. This one will look great on a light stand. Put it on the stand so it's sitting, need a little bit brighter of a light than this. But somewhere, usually I roll them around until you hit the spot like that shows the best, and put it on a light stand. You need a little bit brighter of a light than this one. And because you do a bright enough light, you get it to light up through most of the stone. But that'll be a fun sphere when it's done. We'll see y'all tomorrow night for some more rough rock. Appreciate you guys. Have a good night.
Thanks, everyone.